Dr. Ramona Lynn Bethley.
That's me.
That's my girl. Bishop, the Louisiana Annual Conference, there is only one petition before you this day. You can find it in Supplement 2, which is also in the app, so you can look at that. Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
Love to. All right, the Committee on Petitions received one petition. It was forwarded to the Mission and Mercy, and the vote was returned to us 4 non-concurrence, 1 concurrence, 1 abstain, and the resolution to our annual conference submitted by Caleb Porter is as follows. The subject is resolution to commit to ministry to and with LGBTQIA+ community. Reasons for this resolution: whereas paragraph 161.g of the Book of Discipline, Social Principles makes the following statements. We affirm that sexuality is God's good gift to all persons, and that the church should support the family in providing age-appropriate education regarding sexuality to children, youth, and adults. We affirm that all persons are individuals of sacred worth, created in the image of God. We implore families and churches not to reject or condemn lesbian or gay members and friends, and we commit ourselves to be in ministry for and with all persons. Whereas, according to a 2022 Gallup poll, LGBTQIA+ individuals make up 7.2% of the U.S. population, and as much as 11.2% of millennials born 1981 to 96, and as much as 19.7% of Generation Z born 1997 to 2003. Whereas, according to information distributed by the Fenway Institute, LGBTQIA+ adults are twice as likely to attempt suicide than the average population, and LGBTQIA+ youth are more than 4.5 times as likely to attempt suicide than the average youth population. Whereas the 2022 South Central Jurisdiction Conference adopted Resolution 22-03, which is Queer Delegates' Call to Center Justice and Empowerment for LGBTQIA+ people in the UMC, in which the South Central Jurisdiction commits to a future of the United Methodist Church where LGBTQIA+ people will be protected, affirmed, and empowered in the life and ministry of the church in our jurisdiction, including laity, ordained clergy in the episcopacy, and on boards and agencies. So the proposed actions, therefore, be it resolved that the Louisiana Conference of the United Methodist Church commits itself to protecting, affirming, and empowering LGBTQIA+ people within the life and ministry of the churches and our conference, particularly as laity and on boards and agencies. Be it further resolved that the Louisiana Conference requests the bishop and cabinet to form a conference-level LGBTQIA+ ministries team consisting of laity and clergy, tasked with creating, collecting, sharing resources to equip and empower local churches to do ministry to and with people of the LGBTQIA+ community. This team should collaborate with other ministry-specific areas, particularly youth ministry, children's ministry, and campus ministry, in order to most effectively and safely minister to and with LGBTQIA+ people of all ages. That is the petition.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there questions? Oh, hey. petitioner get to speak first?
Yeah.
Okay, well, ma'am,
Caleb Porter.
petitioner's okay. All right, there he is, okay. Microphone 2, please identify yourself, your name, your church, and if you are clergy or lay.
My name is Caleb Porter. I am a lay delegate for the Baton Rouge District, and I'm the submitter of this petition, and I believe that I have the chance to speak for my petition that doesn't count as a speech for or against because I submitted it.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Yes, 3 minutes.
Okay. There is a time limit. There's a 3-minute time limit by the conference rules, so go ahead and proceed. I just want to remind you that. Oh, the
5.
maker gets 5. Okay, my apologies.
That's okay.
So, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Caleb Porter, and I currently serve as the Director of Music Ministries and organist at First UMC in Hammond. I have been a Louisiana United Methodist my entire life. I went to VBSs, attended youth group, sang in choirs, played the piano and organ all at UMCs within this state. I was a leader at Southeastern Louisiana University's Wesley Foundation. I went on and led mission trips to Cambodia through VIM. I worked as summer staff at Wiskachitto, one of our United Methodist camps in this conference. And I was first was a delegate to this annual conference in 2010 when I attended an ordination service where I first felt the call into music ministry. I have helped lead singing in annual conference worship services, served as organist for annual conference memorial services, and currently am on the conference board of laity. I stand here today as one of a very select group of people. According to the Book of Discipline, I am an individual of sacred worth, created in the image of God, and I am incompatible with Christian teaching. I stand here not as an elder because I am ineligible. I stand here not as a local pastor because I am ineligible. I stand here not as a lay minister because I am ineligible. I stand here not as a deacon because I am ineligible. I stand alongside so many of my queer siblings in the only space allowed for us as a layperson. And I am troubled by the conversations I've had with my queer siblings in this conference. We are tired. We are hurt. We feel ignored. We feel attacked. We wonder how much longer we can belong to a system that provides such little space for us. In a church which claims to have open doors, there are many doors that remain locked. This resolution has 2 goals. First, do we, as the Louisiana Annual Conference, truly believe that church should be open to all people? Do we believe that queer people belong in our pews, in our choir lofts, on our organ benches, on our church leadership teams, on our conference boards and agencies? And second, can we show that we value queer people in our communities enough to minister to and with them by creating safe spaces for our children and youth programs, our campus ministries, and our congregations? This resolution will cost nothing to implement. This resolution does not violate the Book of Discipline. This resolution does not mandate any church to do anything. It will, however, affirm the humanity and image of God in queer people in our communities in Louisiana, and it will allow, equip, and empower local congregations of this conference to create spaces that are welcoming and affirming of queer people of all ages. I've been to many lay events over the past few years, and the question that keeps getting asked is, where are all the young people? I'm accustomed to being the youngest person at some of these events, and here I am, the young person, asking for space for me, my queer siblings, and the 20% of young people who identify as LGBTQIA. In a denomination with so much division and statistical decline, we cannot afford to continue to ignore as much as 20% of the population, particularly a set that is in such need of community and safe haven. And if we, the church, cannot provide community and safe haven, then what are we doing? Thank you.
I'm going to invite you to hold your applause in this setting so that we can hear all voices. I know there's passion and emotion here, but let's hold on that together. Will we hold each other in that? Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, who was?
Speeches for and against.
Okay, we have speeches for and against. You have 3-minute limit. At the 30-second mark, I will tell you you have 30 seconds. And then at the 10-second mark, I will say you have 10 seconds. And then I will say time, okay? So that we can move our conversations along. And I don't know who came to which microphone first. I think you all came at the same time. So we'll just start with microphone 4. Identify who you are, your name, your charge, and if you are clergy or lay.
I'm John Fletcher. I'm the lay leader at University United Methodist in Baton Rouge. And so a few weeks ago, I got the opportunity to travel to First United Methodist Church in Lafayette. Pastor Jessica Lowe had invited me to participate in a panel of folk talking about what it was like to be gay and United Methodist. And I went there thinking I was going to be the only gay talking to a bunch of, curious straight people. But instead, what I found was a room full of people who were LGBTQIA and their family and their allies. And they had somehow, in Lafayette, Louisiana, found this church and come in, and we just listened to each other. Friends, I have to tell you, these were not, by and large, lifelong Methodists. They were refugees from other churches. They were veterans of the very worst that Christians have to say. We queer people, we know what it is like to be considered vile. And yet, after so many rejections, kindly and coldly both, they sought out church. And I asked them, what led you to First United Methodist Church in Lafayette? And they said, you know what, it was the smallest thing. We were looking for a church. We were looking for one, and we saw just a bit of a rainbow in one of their materials, such a slight thing, such a little sticker. But we in this church know that a rainbow is a promise of safety and salvation. And Pastor Jessica Lowe chose to live into that promise. And friends, those people at that church, they were young people. They were parents with young children. These were the kind of members we would kill for. And they listened, they looked, and they saw this slightest bit of gesture, and they knew that they could be seen and safe in this space. Queer people look all the time at the Methodist Church. They have looked over the past few years. They have heard clearly the signal sent by those who decided to depart this church, and now they're looking at us who remain. What is the signal? I have a lot of feelings about those who departed us, but above all, I feel pity. God helped them on their way. They heard the invitation to the banquet and decided they had better things to do.
30 seconds.
And now it is up to us to go out into the streets and alleys to those who were called vile and say, you are welcome, we see you. We are here, we queer people, inside the church, outside the church. We are begging to be let in. We are breaking through the roof. We are hoping, praying that the church will be healed from its paralysis. Will you please join us in this smallest of gestures? I hope you will. Thank you.
Time. Okay, that was a speech 4. Microphone 5, state your name, your church, whether you are clergy or lay.
Andrew Smith, Laity, Rain Memorial in New Orleans, and this is not a speech, it's a request for information.
Okay.
We had the breakdown of those who voted from the Mission and Mercy team. Could we get the number of members who didn't participate in that vote?
I'll have to call Dr. Bethley?
No.
Bethley?
No.
Is that
John
right?
Gilmore.
No?
No, Miss Reverend Isaac Hammond,
Reverend Isaac Hammond. He's in charge of that.
is the chair of Mission and Mercy.
Okay, the chair of Mission and Mercy. Please go to a microphone. Isaac Hammond.
Is he here?
Is Isaac Hammond here?
No, he was here yesterday.
Okay, he was here yesterday. Who else is on that committee?
Okay.
Who is that? Hang on.
So,
Is he? He's coming? Okay, yeah, we'll wait for him to come.
You may want to get the breakdown of the vote on that.
Okay, okay. And so, Isaac Hammond, go to microphone 3. Do you have the breakdown of the vote? I think that was the question for the, is that for,
How many on the committee didn't?
okay, how many on the committee did not vote for the Mission and Mercy on the petition? Is that, did I hear that?
Right, there are 13.
Okay. Microphone 3. Identify your name, who, your status, clergy, lay, and your church.
Isaac Hammond from Neely United Methodist Church, pastor, chairman of Mission Mercy team. The vote came back. I'm pretty sure y'all talk about the petition. I'm sorry, I was down the hall. We have a whole lot of people on our committee that were disaffiliated, 2 of them from the Shreveport area, so the number did come down. Some abstained from voting for some reason. We had 1 abstained because she was related to the one who gave the petition. We had 5 that said they didn't agree with it. 1 said yes. 4 did not concur, and so it's 5-1. 4-1, I'm sorry, 4-1.
So there were 10 votes,
No,
6 votes.
6 votes.
6 voted, 1 abstained, and the others didn't. Wait a minute, hold on, church.
Can you check your numbers? This is a point of information, correct? That was the question.
Okay.
And so the body wants to know the information, the number of votes. And those who didn't participate, the number, correct?
So it was 4? Okay. Okay.
All right, okay, this is the list, all right,
All righty.
okay.
It was 4 that did not concur,
Not
4 against.
4
One
against,
for.
1 for, and 1 abstained.
And the committee has 1, 2, 3, 4.
So let's be clear. There, 1 abstained, 4 non-concur,
1 concur.
1 concur.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's 6.
13 altogether.
6 votes.
So that would be 7 that did not.
2
So
disaffiliated.
7 did not vote.
But 2 disaffiliated.
Okay. Is that clear?
That still ain't right.
Okay, hold on a second, everyone. Let's see
Okay,
if we
we-
get that real clear. Be real clear for us, please, so we can all understand how this vote went with the committee. And this is the Mercy and Mission?
Mission and Mercy team.
Okay, Mission and Mercy team, you voted on the petition.
Petition.
And so, real clear. Okay,
13 members became 11 because 2 disaffiliated. And then you had 6 that voted.
Okay, so the
All right.
One abstained, one of the 6.
1 abstained, 1 abstained.
1 abstain.
14 members, 2 disaffiliated. So there's
2 disaffiliated.
So, here we go.
The answer is
Here we-
5.
Okay, 5 voted,
That's what.
1 abstained.
6 people voted
The answer
altogether.
to his question.
It's fine.
The answer to your question is 5.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
I've been out in the heat. Don't.
okay. Is everybody clear on 5 on point of information? Okay, thank you for your patience. Okay.
Did he
Uh,
have anything else?
Did you have anything else on the point of question?
I think that might be useful information to provide in the future because I think it gives some context.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good point. Okay.
Speeches against.
You need the numbers again? Okay, there's too many conversation, I can't hear. So what was?
There were,
Turn the mic on.
so on the committee, prior to two disaffiliations, there were 13 members. Now there were 11 remaining potential votes. Of those 11 eligible voters, 6 participated, 4 voted non-concurrence, 1 voted concurrence, 1 abstained, 5 did not participate.
Thank you.
Are we good? Okay.
Okay. So stay at microphone 3, I think.
Let's see if we got a
Okay.
speech against
Okay.
first.
Okay. So do we have a speech against?
All right.
5 over here?
Oh, wait.
Microphone 5.
Okay. Microphone 5. State your name, your church, and your status. Clergy or lay.
Clifton Conrad, pastor Asbury and St. Matthew United Methodist Churches in New Orleans District. And I want to clarify, this is not a speech against the spirit of what they're doing. This is not a speech against Caleb. This is not a speech against John. This is a speech against protocol, because when we have issues that deal with
Is
African...
this a point of order, though?
No, well, not really a point of order. Yeah, I guess it would be a point of order, because usually when we
Okay,
deal with...
what rule would your point of order?
Well, it's just dealing with caucuses and actual committees of the annual conference.
Then that would be out of order.
Well, if I can speak to it,
Is it a speech against?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So you.
I just want to know, it's not against the spirit of what they're doing. It's just that when we as African Americans come on board, we don't have an African American committee that's on the conference level. We don't have an Asian American committee on the conference level. We have the caucuses that deal with issues surrounding the community of those. So if we form this as a committee, an official committee, would we not be overlooking the caucus level that's supposed to be operating for that? Because when we operate as a conference, we normally deal with issues surrounding racism, issues surrounding issues dealing with LGBTQI. It's all an issues-related thing, but when it comes to specific groups in that, we usually hold to caucus-level communities.
Okay, that's a speech against. Thank you. Is there a speech for? And you have 3 minutes. Microphone 2, name, church, and clergy or lay.
Jessica Trahan, laity, director of Wesley United Campus Ministry. Siblings in Christ, I beg you to hear these words this morning. Hear me when I say that the time has come that I must pick up my mat. It is no longer appropriate for me to sit on the sidelines or in the shadows while others have the courage and the boldness and, dare I say, the audacity to rip open rooftops and deliver me to Jesus. My legs work. I'm of sound heart and mind, but I have allowed fear to paralyze me for years. We as a people have allowed fear to paralyze us for decades. It's time to walk. I've long taken comfort in Psalm 30 that reminds us that the joy cometh in the morning, despite the tears and the weeping of the night. A love and a faith and a true hope in Christ Jesus is how we know joy. Because the weeping we must endure while living in this world is overwhelming. Do you know why we weep? Our reality is that many in the LGBT plus community are loved and adored if we're seated at an organ or adorned in a choir robe. But then we find ourselves a disgrace, or more specifically, incompatible to answering a call to ministry. Our reality is that our beloved churches will take our time on boards and committees, welcome our sweat and elbow grease at work days, and happily accept my pledge card. But quickly and easily dismiss our request for Christian marriage in the very spaces we help sustain. Our reality is that good, God-fearing church people will look us in the eye and say, and I quote, "You should be happy with what you have." And yes, I remember and I rejoice because there is joy in the morning. But our reality is that
30
nothing,
seconds.
no change or shift is guaranteed at General Conference 2024. It is the responsibility of this body. It is our responsibility to equip and empower laity and clergy to do the work that needs to be done. Queer people are hurting, queer people are leaving,
10
and queer
seconds.
people are dying. And there are amazing United Methodists in these seats and pews ready to do the work. Help us do the work.
Time.
Help us start healing.
Thank you. Microphone 1. Is it a speech for or against?
For.
For. I need to do another against. Is there someone at a microphone that has a speech against? Microphone 5, name, your status, clergy or lay, and your church.
Sione, First Methodist Bossier City. I'm a clergy. Just question. The whole petition is about create a special committee. That's all. It's just asking for a special committee. Just want to clarify the petition. It's just asking for a special committee? Okay, thank you.
That was not a speech against.
Is there a speech again?
Is there a speech against? You've read the petition. The petition was read.
Okay, for another speech.
Okay. Is there another speech for? Okay. Number 4. Name.
Matt Rawl, Asbury United
Oh,
Methodist
okay,
Church.
hold on.
Oh, sorry,
hold on.
excuse me.
We need
Hold
to
on.
go back to
I have a
microphone.
motion
Okay.
rather than a...
We need to go back to microphone number 1. Is that correct? Okay. Stay there. Microphone 1, name, whether you're for or against, and your status, clergy, lay, and your church.
I'm Ava Lockridge. I'm a member of FUMC Baton Rouge, and would you believe me if I said I was clergy? No, I am lay. So I am a queer youth delegate for this convention, and I have felt nothing but loved and welcomed by FUMC Baton Rouge the entire time I've been a part of that church, which is my entire life. So I don't have a speech prepared, and I feel a little underprepared right now, but I just want to say that I have seen many of my friends, many of my peers turn away from the church that they feel does not love them for who they are, does not accept them. And that is one of the main reasons why we are talking about, we're losing youth, we are losing these young people, and it's because they don't feel accepted. They don't feel Jesus' love because of the people within the church. And that just hurts my heart just a little bit. And so I look on all of you today at the United Methodist Convention, and I don't have grand, big ideas. I'm just 16. This is my first time here. I don't know what's going on. But I do have hope. And I do have a lot of hope that the people gathered here today will all join together in love and more hope to accept my peers, my people, and everyone for who they are and love them as Christian people in the church.
Okay, thank you. Before we move forward, there was the question, I think the gentleman before, the petition is requesting a committee or a task force be put together. That's what this petition is about, the gist of it. And so I think someone had shouted something. So it's about having a conference task force, in a sense, to look at the issues of LGBTQIA in our conference. Okay, so microphone 4, is this a speech for, against?
It's a motion.
A motion, okay. So do you have it in writing?
Well, Matt Rawle, Asbury United Methodist Church, clergy. In light of our recently revealed relationship with math, I think it's a super idea to invoke Article 9 of our conference rules, which allows this to be a written ballot so that a count can be accurate, efficient, mathematically based count.
Okay, it requires a 2/3 vote.
1/3.
A 1/3, I'm sorry. 1/3 vote. It's not debatable.
And make sure you ask a vote for and then a vote against.
Okay. Okay. For this motion, to vote by ballot, correct? Written ballot, You will need to use your cards. Need 1/3 of the room, of the voting members to sustain this, correct? Okay. So are you ready to vote on the motion? State your motion again.
Yes, the motion is to invoke Article 9, or
Article
Rule 9.
9.
Yeah, Rule 9 of our conference rules, which allows for a paper ballot. And in light of our recent revelation of math that we had earlier, I think it's a super idea for that to be a written ballot so it can be counted efficiently.
Okay. Are you ready to vote? Okay. To approve the motion, you'll need to raise your green card. Okay, is that a third?
That's clear passing.
I think that's a third. Math, okay. Are there any, no clapping, please. Are there any opposed? Raise your red card. Okay. Okay, we have a few. All right, so 1/3, it passes. All right, so we will have to have a written ballot.
Call on Dr. Tom Doff.
Okay. Tom Doff, the secretary of the conference comes. Are you prepared? Give us a second. Please pause. Are there any speeches against? Against the petition, excuse me. Are there any speeches against the petition?
More speeches for.
Are these more speeches for at the microphone? Microphone 1. Okay, let's pause. Microphone 3, is this a speech against?
No, it is not. It is a friend. I wish to.
You have to identify yourself.
Richardson, pastor, Cornerstone United Methodist Church, New Orleans. I wish to recommend an amendment to the petition, if at all possible. And the amendment is this. In the petition, I want to suggest or recommend that it be linked to the Wesley, since we're visiting Wesley, it's linked to the Wesley rule that we all know, which is to do no harm, to love each other, and to stay in love with God. And I would like to just recommend that that be considered as a
Okay,
part.
that's not a motion.
I understand that. Okay. Well, I just wanted to just be heard. Okay. That's all.
All right. Hey, it's all right. And I hope everyone just be calm. And we will, do no harm to anyone here today. Let's just stay calm and cool. And there are some pieces that I'm trying to track. Okay. Hold on. Microphone number 1, is this a speech against?
No. It's 4.
No, it's 4. Are there any speeches against? Okay.
There's a point of order.
Okay. Point of order.
Madam Chair, having no more speeches. I'm sorry.
Identify yourself, yes.
Scott Hughes, District at Large, Shreveport District. Madam Chair, having no more speeches against per the rules, I call the question.
Okay. Question's been called.
Okay, there's no debate.
Okay, there's no debate when the question is called. It's a 2/3 vote to call the question. Are you ready to vote? Get your cards. 2/3 vote.
Yeah.
Are you ready to vote? Hold. Was there a second? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, are you ready? We're calling the question. I think we have to take care of that before we take care of number 3. So we have to take care of the calling the question first, okay? And so, yeah, they're just calling the question. Yeah.
Who does?
That Caleb right here.
Caleb, he has a question. He has a question to ask.
Okay, microphone number 2, we're going to recognize.
I would just appreciate some clarification on what we are voting on now, which is to call the question, not on the resolution itself.
Right, we're calling the question, and I think that ends debate, right?
Yeah.
That ends, calling the question ends debate, okay? Calling the question in debates. Are you ready to vote? And there's been a second, so raise your green card if you want to call the question. At 2/3, is that 2/3?
Clearly.
Okay, and then the question's been called, so now we go back to.
Go ahead and ask for how many you got it. So we can.
Okay, how many, oh, that's right, I'm sorry. So how many against? Raise your red card. Okay, so the motion passes to call the question.
Now.
Vote on now we vote on the resolution.
There is a question.
Okay. Okay, where are we at? Microphone 5? Okay. Microphone 5, identify yourself.
Clifton Conrad, Asbury St. Matthew, New Orleans District. And the question is, are we voting with the cards or are we voting by ballot?
We're voting by ballot. Those, you have to have credentials to vote. You have to be a member of the annual conference to vote. So give me a moment. Okay. Microphone number 3, identify yourself, name, clergy, lay, church.
Sean Anglam, I'm the pastor of First Grace United Methodist Church in New Orleans. And I'm so sorry, Bishop, but we have so few youth here, and I know it would be an exception, but we seem to have just one more at the mic. Would it be possible to let her speak? And would it be possible to be out of order just for one youth?
We're going to move forward and follow the rules as best as we can. Okay.
If she were to ask for a moment.
Right.
You ask her if she's asking for a moment of personal privilege.
At microphone 1, are you asking for a moment of personal privilege? Someone talk to, I can't see you very well. Is it a moment of personal privilege? Then you can request a moment of personal privilege.
Can I request a moment of personal privilege?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay.
I think,
Then
did I
do
just
it.
say that?
Okay, then I do it.
Okay, so identify yourself, your name, your church, and if you're a layperson, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right.
How could you tell?
Okay, yes. You have three minutes for personal privilege? Sure. Yes.
Okay, so I am Sophia Lockridge. I am a member of First United Methodist Church, Baton Rouge, and I am the twin sister of Ava Lockridge, who recently spoke. So I just wanted to say something about a question I feel many of you have, and that is, why are so many young people not turning to the church? Why are so many people leaving the church? And why is the percentage of Americans so high who are not affiliated with any religious organization? So many times in my church, I hear statements or sermons about the lack of young people in the church, the desertion. everyone who's leaving or everyone who never gave it a chance. So one time in a PE class, I think 2 years ago now, our substitute teacher mentioned that he once left the church because it was getting a little too cult-like. And one of my classmates spoke up and said, well, isn't that just all of them? So if you were wondering what the opinion of some youth about the church is, that's it. So what I wanted to say is that one of the reasons so many youth are turning from the church is that it's not that they don't want unconditional love. My generation needs unconditional love more than we ever have before. We need Jesus' message. We need the love that is shared from Jesus by his people. But the problem is that the people who are supposed to be sharing Jesus' love are looking at them and telling them that they're going to go to hell instead of heaven. It hurts my heart to know that the ones who advocate for unconditional love refuse to give it. And I am so lucky to have grown up in an accepting church my whole life, my entire 16 years of life. I have had an accepting family and an accepting church home. But that is a right that is not given to everyone. It is not a privilege, it is a right, and not everyone has it. Thank you for giving me my special privilege to speak.
Thank you. Give us a second here. Thank you for your patience. We have someone else at the microphone over here.
Ask number 3 what his point is.
What is your, before we get to you, Caleb, I see you. We have microphone 3. Identify yourself, your charge, and what is the...
Robert Johnson, Louisiana Avenue in Kaplan United Methodist Church, clergy.
What's his point?
And I want a point of privilege.
Okay, a point of privilege. Okay. You have a few seconds, minutes.
Good. As an African-American male, I hear everyone say they have been, at being gay, kicked out the church. And I feel that we are all put in the same category. My niece is gay. My first cousin is gay. My friends are gay. I have never kicked anybody gay out of the church. I have accepted everybody who comes to the church. I have a married couple in the church that's gay. I meet people on the street that is gay. But to put us all in the basket, that's why people are not coming to church, is not true. It's because parents stop bringing their children to church. And what's happening in the black community is the crime because we don't bring their children to church. But to put us in a category that's the reason the church is not growing is not the reason why, because you are gay. And I just feel offended by that.
Okay.
Because I love people, and anybody who knows Robert
Thank you.
Johnson. So that's why I just want to correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. No comments or responses, please. We're going to move to the petitioner. Do we do him first?
Yes.
Okay. Let us go back to microphone 2. Identify yourself again.
My name is Caleb Porter. I am the writer of this and submitter of this petition, and I believe I have 5 minutes to speak again to my petition. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes, according to the conference rules.
Thank you. Hear the words of queer delegates of this annual conference. One person said this: I'm grateful that the people of the United Methodist Church appear to have taken a stand. I appreciate the inclusive language that people appear to be using, and I am hopeful for the direction that our faith appears to be headed. Appearances are important, but they do not provide inclusion. We've been waiting, we've been praying, and we've been hoping. Give us hope. We, the church, must move beyond appearances and stand with intention. Let it be known that the Louisiana United Methodist Church intends for all people to have full participation in the life of the church and its ministry. We need this hope. Another voice. In 2008, I was searching for a church. I lived next door to UMC, so I checked it out. Open hearts, open minds, open doors. It was right there on the webpage. So I thought this was a welcoming space. A few years later, as I learned more, I found out how bad that branding was. I just want this church to become the place it said it was over 10 years ago. It's past time we get moving on this in a real way. Another voice. While I recognize the time that true transformation can take, I think it unfair to continue to ask us to wait and see, when there is no guarantee that the status quo will shift. We are faithful, but we are tired. We are hurting. We believe in what this United Methodist Church can be, and we also believe that we are a vital piece of this community that has been literally and figuratively pushed aside. We can be better, and we must be better. Another voice. There's been a lot of attention in the past 2 years to the many, many people we've lost to disaffiliations. But have we really considered how many members or potential members that we've lost over the past 50 years because of our lack of clear support and inclusion of our LGBTQ plus siblings in the life of the church? Another voice. I think of how the direction of my life might have changed had I known that ordination for me was possible. I think of the many incredible preachers and teachers and pastors we've missed out on due to our incompatibility language. I also think of the many young people we've lost who have continued to feel incompatible in their lives due to a narrative that's been supported by their own churches. Young people are dealing with mental health issues at an all-time high, with depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts, a regular occurrence for LGBTQ youth today. Shouldn't we, as a church, be doing everything we can to care for the youngest of us? I pray the United Methodist Church can be a voice of hope and acceptance and not another voice in the chorus of bigotry and hate. Another voice. It hurts my heart that the first thing other queer people ask me about my church is it safe? They mean, will my family and I be welcome or rejected? Will we be accepted or attacked? Is your church safe? It hurts even more that I have to answer them, yes, except. Except when you want to marry your partner. Except if you want to answer the call into ordained ministry. Except if you want to avoid making some people uncomfortable. Except. My hope is that we become a church I can recommend to all people without exception. Another voice. At last night's ordination service, we sang the lyrics for Everyone Born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be. I'm just wondering how long it will take the United Methodist Church, and specifically the Louisiana Conference, to live out what they sing. And my voice. Standing before you are 8 people, each representing a different church from across our conference, all of whom have heard the call to ministry and bravely stepped out with their yes to God's call to serve the United Methodist Church and the Louisiana Annual Conference as laity. Today, we are here asking you to affirm our yes. We are the ones of sacred worth who, despite years of encountering hate, harm, being silenced, and being forgotten, have chosen to stay at the United Methodist Church.
15 seconds.
Will you protect us, affirm us, and empower us to live out our callings in the Louisiana Annual Conference?
Thank you. Okay. Are we ready to, we're going to clarify from the committee what we're about to do.
So the petition is before you. I remind you, you can find it on page 4 of Supplement 2. We will vote the petition to keep it simple. So we're not going to vote on the concurrence or non-concurrence of Mission and Mercy. We are going to vote the petition itself, either for or against, and it will be a paper ballot.
Yes.
Tellers, if you will go see Ms. Rhonda Whitley to my left and receive the ballots, and then take your stations, but don't do anything just yet. This is one of those moments where we will have to be a little more technical than usual. The first thing that I want to advise people of, if you are in the overflow room, that does not count as the bar of the conference. There are seats within the bar. If you are a voting delegate and in the back room, you will need to move forward to be able to vote. Quick word about who is eligible to vote. If you are an elder or a deacon, full, retired, or provisional, you may vote. If you are a local pastor currently under appointment, you may vote. If you are an associate member, you may vote. If you are the lay delegate from your church or an at-large from your district, you may vote. If you are a member of the conference by virtue of office, you know who you are, you may vote. If you are a guest, a member of another conference, another denomination, a supply pastor, those kinds of things, unfortunately at this moment, you do not get a vote. In a moment, I'm going to ask all voting delegates to stand. When I do so, a teller will hand you a small slip of paper. Once you receive your paper, please be seated, but do not write anything just yet. Once we get that done, I will proceed with the next step. So if you are a voting delegate, you must be within the room. Please stand. Tellers, hand out the ballots. All right, thank you. Tellers, if you will return the spares to the stage, thank you. In a moment, after a moment of prayer, the bishop will ask you to cast your ballot. When you do so, you will either write the word yes or the word no. If you write the word yes, you are voting for the petition. If you write the word no, you are voting against the petition. Once you have written your response, please fold your ballot once and hold it in your lap for further instructions. Bishop, I turn it back over to you for a moment of prayer and to call for the vote.
Let us take a moment of pause, and let us bow our hearts before the throne of grace. The words of the scripture, 46:10 of the Psalms says, "Be still and know that God is God." Lord, in this moment, we ask that you be with us. Guide us. Surround us in this moment. Let your Spirit, O God, hover in this place. Let your Holy Spirit be within each of us. And Lord, we ask, after these moments, that you continue to lead us and guide us as the Louisiana Conference, but most of all, as disciples and brothers and sisters to each other. Amen. This time, get ready to cast your ballot. Yes for the petition or no against the petition, and then fold it only once. You may proceed. Cast your ballot.
Are there any outstanding ballots? Are there any outstanding ballots? Is there a yes? Where, if you are, could you please stay where you are until I can determine whether all ballots have been collected? If you have a ballot that has not been collected, would you please raise your hand or your ballot and stand? All ballots have been collected. Bishops, I believe you can declare balloting closed.
The balloting is closed.
A word of thanks to the best tellers ever. There were 291 ballots cast. One of those was an abstention. 3 were invalid because they didn't use the words yes or no. Of those remaining, 71% voted yes, 29% voted no. The resolution passes.
Okay, no applause. No applause. No applause. No applause. Okay, it's a holy moment. Okay. Remember, we're all made in the image of the Imago Dei. We all have hopes and dreams. And so this is worthy of a moment of silence because there is work to be done. There is work to be done. And that's what we want to do. So let's just pause and bow our hearts.